Welcome to Insiders, B2B intelligence for those serious about surf parks. What the beach is in the context of a surf park and how it might best be used by a surf park developer to enhance the guest experience and potentially to drive revenues beyond the pool itself.
The dictionary definition would suggest it's that narrow strip of land between the water and not the water. But it's a pretty narrow area that not much is happening on. But to me, the beach is where everything is happening that's not specifically surfing. So, you know, there's training that's happening. There's the sort of quiet, passive recreation before and after a surf. There is changing, there's restrooms. These are all things that have to happen regardless of revenue streams. But there's also the opportunity to introduce other revenue generating elements, whether it's food and beverage, which is obvious every one of these things has, but are there some other programs that you can begin to monetize, whether they be other sports or balance-based activities? Is there a way to create a continuum of training that involves more than just in-water surfing? Is there dry land training? Is there classroom training? There are other balance activities that can be done in addition to surfing. Is there even deep water standing wave technology where people can practice balance before they actually get into the pool? So, depending on the amount of real estate you have and what you're really trying to achieve with this offering, you can really have an expansive view of the beach.
What does that look like from your perspective as an architect working in the space? And your brief is, okay, we have a pool, we've got this larger scale interpretation of the beach, and we'd like to monetize multiple components of that. What other issues or data points are you thinking about from a design perspective? What do you need to think through to get those customer experiences to be great on that beach and to provide multiple opportunities for additional revenue streams?
That's an awesome question. The first thing is thinking through how big, and by big, I mean from a population standpoint, the project or the surf park wants to be. And there's kind of a maximum size that I think you can get away with if the anchor of the whole destination is the surf pool itself. There's kind of only so many people and so many programs you're going to be able to support with a surf pool only. Certainly you can do that. There's plenty of projects that are doing that. We've seen some success with them out there. But once you go beyond that, then the question is, how far beyond that are you going? Are you really layering? Water park is the obvious thing. So how many other attractions are you layering in? And at what point does the balance tip between surf park that has some supplemental program or water park that has surf park as a feature? And I think you want to be conscious when you tip that balance, for sure. One of the most important things to me as a designer is trying to maintain some fidelity with surf, capital S surf. What those of us that have been like lifelong surfers know and love and care about are passed on. How that gets achieved is different everywhere. I don't think it's putting a wind and sea palapa in front of every surf pool everywhere in the world. That's the wrong way to go about doing it. But finding that balance between local, some kind of local representation in terms of materiality, maybe not style, but materiality and scale of space and building practice is important. But essentially we're taking surf and we're deploying it around the world. So we need to be mindful of that, sensitive to it. And that's where the designer gets in the way, or not in the way, hopefully it gets out of the way and makes it happen, which can be independent of a lot of the revenue and program questions that need to be answered.
No, that's fascinating. I enjoy your use of the word fidelity there, and how an authentic feeling surfing destination or experience can be achieved in a space that has been constructed from the ground up, I think is really fascinating. In my research in the surf tourism realm, I kind of theorized about symbolic elements of a surfing nirvana that need to be in place, but that they are not fixed. They can be changed, and their meaning can change, and they can be challenged by changing circumstances. But when they are in place, this kind of socially constructed idea of a surfing nirvana anchors itself over these geographic locations, and that experience can be had as long as those symbolic elements are in place. I also find it encouraging from a sustainability perspective. I'm interested in kind of celebrating local components wherever these surf parks go, so that we don't just end up with kind of cookie cutter North Shore Hawaii faux style constructions being dropped into the middle of places where that's not really culturally appropriate. So I think from my perspective anyway, I find that exciting, that you come with that history of appreciating and studying vernacular architecture in its different places. And as you say, materiality and design can come into that, and how that might manifest in different geographies, I think is pretty cool.